Howdy, howdy, howdy. Can you hear me, Dustin? Anybody else? Hey, Oki. Hey, B. Good to see y'all. Thank you. Hey, Denise. Hopefully everybody's doing well today. Getting ready to watch the bloodbath in Kyiv. Hey, Valerie. Hey, Prep. Good to see you. Good to see all of y'all. Yeah, it looks like we're getting ready to have a bloodbath in Kyiv. Trying to keep up with all that. What a disaster. It gets worse every day. But I'll tell you what, the Ukrainians have been able to put a pretty good lick on them. I think they've got a pretty good demoralized part of their force. The Russians have taken quite a hit, not certainly more of a hit than they expected to take. But yeah, today's live. I just wanted to go over some off the road preps. Go ahead, Denise. But mhm. Hey, Jeannie, good to see you. Yeah, yes, Denise, I'm with you. Uh-huh. No snow here, Okie. Not yet. We've had a little flurries, but mainly just a light sleet. Not snow yet. But I think that they said it could be coming, but it's not going to stick. Yeah. Hey, Dusty. Yeah, Denise. Yeah, I'm with you on that. So there's a school of thought out there that, yeah, that the UK and then other NATO nations are sending active duty troops into this theater under the guise of being civilians. But I don't know about that. I mean, it could be true, but it would be. And I hope that we do have some special ops people in there controlling some things and getting some intel, directly. But the way that social media is today, the way that news travels so fast, I don't know about that. but it's possible. Could be contractors. Yeah. I mean, there's a whole lot of, these private armies is a big business now. Been a big business since Iraq. Private armies, and there's several of them out there, and they're international companies. If you look into it, you can find out more about it. But yeah, I mean, I saw on the news last night there was a former Dallas police officer who's now an attorney has dropped everything and gone over there to help them fight. Left his family here and everything. And there's been people, Americans and other nationalities over there, helping them fight in the Donbass for years now. Some guys, they leave the military and that's all they really know or want to do, so they stay in that life. They stay in that life, and that's what they know and that's what they like and love, so that's what they do. But there could be some contract workers and private military people over there for sure. It's got to be full of intel people, gathering data and such, trying to steal things and this and that, and pick up movements and interrogate prisoners and things like that. I'm sure that we've got plenty of information, information gatherers on the ground, if you will. And something like this, you got to have good human intelligence. Satellite imagery is great, and electronic surveillance is great, and all that. But you got to, at the end of the day, you've got to have good human intelligence. HUMINT, we call it in the military. Hey, Miss Sherry, good to see you. Some of the preps that I'm going to go through today, these are just off the path preps that not a lot of people think about because it's not something that you're consuming. But nevertheless, I think with price hikes and limited availability, some of these things you should probably go out and grab. Even if you're not really a handy person or a mechanic or a construction person or a home improvement person, a lot of this stuff you can still do yourself. It's not very difficult, but I wanted to sort of go through some of this stuff and just encourage people to go out and procure some of these things while they're still available, number one, and while they're somewhat priced normally. Sherry, I'll answer your question. I mean, a lot of these weapons now are very precise and precision weapons. Even artillery is very precise now. There's laser guided artillery rounds. There's just a lot of upgraded technology that allows you to put a rocket up a gnat's butt, if you will. And so I think a lot of the high rise stuff that's getting destroyed, I think personally, just my opinion, is that Vlad wants to knock out any type of sniper purchase, if you will, for the his enemy to start sniping troops. Take out some of that high ground, if you will. I think that may be part of it, and I think part of it is also intimidation and terrorism. That's good, Valerie. But the reason that I wanted again was to call this live was just to, I'm sure a lot of you have all this stuff. That's fine, but I'm sure that some of you probably don't have some of this stuff. And some of the stuff I'm going to show you, obviously, if I show you a nail, some nails, that you need to get a hammer or a hatchet, something that you can pound a nail in with. I'm not going to show you every tool that is known to man, but if I show you a screw, obviously you know that you need a mechanism to be able to install that screw with a screwdriver or an impact or something like that. Okay. So again, this is just to reiterate some things and to encourage people to go out and and get some of this stuff while it's still available and while it's still affordable, if you will. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is sealants. So this could be, you know, window sealant, door sealant, bathtub, tub and tile, all that stuff. This stuff can keep your windows from leaking and, you know, your tile sealed and all that. There's different, obviously, types of sealant. This is just a regular caulk gun that I would use with something like that. Now, if you don't have a caulk gun and you don't want to mess with a caulk gun, you can go out and you can get these little tubes of, you know, sealant right here. This is just some tub and tile type caulk you can get from Walmart or Home Depot. But, you know, you just cut the tip off of this and you just put pressure on it and you can apply it like that. You don't need a caulk gun to do it with. So those two big things right there that I think everybody should have. These silicone products are really handy to have. And if you've got a leaky window or a busted tile, you know, it's something, if you can't get the actual repair done, you can get yourself by until, you know, you got an opportunity or the affordability to get it fixed properly. Along those same lines is super glue, right? Super glue is great for, you know, repairing things and even for wounds, you know, instead of stitches, you can super glue cut back together, if you will. And I like to buy these little packets of super glue because, you know, the big bottles, they typically will harden up. And if you use them just once, and sometimes the glue is so strong that you'll never be able to applicate it again. So I like these little tubes here, and you can just use a little tube and use it up and throw it away, and you've got a whole nother tube, you know, ready to go. But they're like little mini tubes. Of course, you know, one of my favorites also is, hey, Mountain Grandma, one of my favorites is this Gorilla Glue product. You just got to be careful with it. It does expand like 30 times its size. So it doesn't take a whole lot to you know, reattach something with this. It's really good stuff. They make really good products. And of course, another huge one that a lot of people overlook that has a multitude of uses is, you know, plastic sheeting, right? You can use this for, you know, sealing a window, use it as a tarp. You can use it as a rain catch, drop cloth, you know, etc. There's all kinds of uses for this plastic sheeting. And this is just one little roll of it that I have, but I wanted to show it nonetheless. And then some of these other items are just sort of like, I would call it general use instead of home improvement, if you will. Some of this stuff, it crosses over to home improvement. But one thing that's huge, I think I have a lot of, is these hose clamps. You know, they're great for vehicle hoses or attaching, you know, different things here and there or whatever. But they're pretty handy, and you can get a jar of these. I think these were $10 or something. Different sizes. Anyway, I think I got these at Wally World too, or maybe Home Depot. I also recently grabbed a couple of new fire extinguishers, just, you know, for around the house. I got these little mini ones. I think it was a 2-pack at Home Depot for, I think it was $25 for a 2-pack. It's good to have one around. I think, you know, you can go get them recharged and all that stuff, but I typically will I will typically go just get a couple new ones every few years or so. Masonry patch. Yeah, I mean, you could do that. You can get masonry patch. Like I said, I didn't drag everything out of my inventory. I just wanted to show you all a few things. Of course, you know, probably on top of everybody's list is duct tape and electrical tape. And I'll tell you that, you know, it's okay to use the cheap stuff every now and then, but I like to get good duct tape. There's a difference between cheap duct tape and real good duct tape. This is the Gorilla brand. It's really good stuff. And then electrical tape. Electrical tape has a lot of uses. You can use it to, you know, tape on a gauze for a wound, or you know, attach a splint to somebody or fix electrical wiring, etc. There's a whole lot of uses for it, as well as the duct tape, which most of you know. But go ahead and splurge on at least one good roll of duct tape, because it does matter the quality, and you'll, used or buying cheap duct tape is okay for stuff like maybe around the house. But if you're really trying to keep something together for a long period of time, you want good duct tape. Something else I keep around. Let me go back here. I got a question. Well, to use tube of silicone go bad? I've had some that at least a year old. Valerie, I would say that if you can keep it from freezing, just along with along the lines of any type of paint products, thin set, any type of grout or concrete mix, that's mixed up. As long as you can keep it from freezing, spray paint cans, regular paint in cans, you can keep it from freezing, it's usually okay. So sometimes you got to bring that stuff into a climatized environment so it won't freeze if you want it to last. And then paint will go bad eventually, it depends on the paint and how it's sealed. You can take it, Valerie, you can take that fire extinguisher to like a fire station. They can probably check it for you. Hey, Beth, good to see you. So another one that I wanted to mention to everybody, and some of this stuff I find on the clearance aisle from time to time. But it's this silicone waterproofer. I found it on sale on the clearance aisle. So, good for footwear, a coat, whatever. It's just something good to have. If you've got something that you don't want to leak, some kind of fabric, it's really good for that. But it was on sale, so I was like, what the hell, why not? And it was regularly $10, and I got it for $3.44. So something I think that a lot of people overlook, and it's not necessarily overlooking, they just may not know, but everybody that has a standard water heater in their home, apartment, house, whatever, the big tank water heaters, the round ones, the old school style, there's a valve on the bottom of that water heater that you can drain the tank with. And a lot of people don't understand that that's a water source, and typically if you can get yourself a little hose like this is just a shorter style garden hose, nothing special about it. You can hook this hose to that bottom valve on that water heater and drain it right into a bucket if you need water. So that's another water source that I think a lot of people maybe just overlook and are not sure that that's available to them. I'm sure some people knew that already, but technically you're supposed to drain your water heater once a year anyway to get rid of the mineral deposits in there so it doesn't rot out the tank inside. So it's a good idea to have one of these little hoses, and it'll allow you to be able to do that properly. And like I said, a lot of this stuff, that I'm going to show you, obviously, if it's a nail, you need a hammer or some type of hammering device to install it, so just think about that. I'm not going to show you every little thing. You guys and gals are more, yeah, that works too, Dustin, for sure. And of course, the good lubricants are hard to beat. I like this white lithium stuff. It's great for doors, door hinges rather, and like the garage door mechanism. It's always good to keep that stuff, lubricated. So, it's always going to go out in an inopportune time, middle of winter or whatever. But it's good to every once in a while keep stuff lubricated so it works properly. Of course, that goes along the lines of firearms lubricants and things like that. And then, of course, you can go all the way into, the nails and screws. I got some 3-inch nail. I got different nails. You know, this is just one little box that I wanted to pull out, show y'all. But I like different sizes of nails. This is a box of different types of different wood screws. You see, there's different lengths. There's 1 inch all the way to 3-inch in here. The big bucket of screws. I think I got these from Wally World, actually. I think they were around $5, not much. And then, yeah, I've got a lot of self-tapping bolts and screws too, lag bolts that you can go through steel with. We use a lot of steel stuff out of our little ranch that we have, and we're always using steel. And so you want to attach 2 pieces of steel together. If you're not going to weld it, you need to typically self-tap it together. And it's just a big long screw with a drill, basically a drill bit on the end of it, which allows you to just punch a screw right through, and it bonds it all together. Allows you to penetrate metal. And then a little bit of an advanced couple of things here. And I got these from, I believe I got these from one of these from Harbor Freight. I think I got this little O-ring kit from Harbor Freight, you know, and if you need like water hose, O-rings, this and that, you know, this is just good to have. These things are always rotting out, you know. Even some firearms have these little rubber bushings in them, you know, these semi-automatic shotguns and stuff have these little O-rings that you might be able to get by with having to replace one from this kit. Hey, off the wall, good to see you. But you know, I think this one came from Harbor Freight. It wasn't but a few bucks, you know, but I figure it's just in a nice clean box and it's not taking up much space, and you might need it for your water hose or something else. And then of course the electrical kit, connector kit, you know, splicing wires together and connecting wires. It does, you know, happen from time to time, especially if you've got corrosion on things. And you know, you're always in a pinch. It's a good idea to maybe, these are so cheap. I think this was $4 or $5. I mean, you just throw one in the vehicle or throw one in your garage, and you've always got them handy. I mean, they just never really go bad as long as you keep them from getting, you know, direct sunlight. But anyway, those are a couple of different things also that are off the beaten path, if you will. And of course, you know, you could go through your garage and pick out any kind of, you know, special preps that would be handy for, you know, SHTF situation. But I'm more looking at it from a standpoint of, you know, it might be it might be one of those things where you just want to get it down while it's affordable still. Because I really think this is going to go on for a while, unfortunately. I think unless Vlad resorts to carpet bombing, they're going to be bogged down in this thing for a while over there, and I think it's going to have a ripple effect, at least a financial ripple effect across the world, as it already is. Yeah, wire strippers. Yep. Those are big. And again, I'm not addressing tools in this video, but yeah, I mean, obviously, I mean, some people don't know, I guess, but most people know that you need a good wire stripper device to be able to properly remove the gauge material from wiring and stuff like that. But all that stuff, you know, just think about it. You know, if you go to the store and if it's high now, just wait, you know, it's going to get worse. But try to, you know, at least the things that you could see happening to your home, you know, like the sealants around doors and windows. I mean, all that stuff is huge to be able to, and those are things you can do yourself. You don't really need to hire somebody to do all that unless you're seriously disabled. But if you can afford to get some extra caulk and sealant and, you know, plastic sheeting, duct tape, all that stuff, I would go ahead and grab it now while you can still afford it, while it's still available. Hey, Bonnie, it's good to see you. Yeah, Dustin, they do make a nice different sets of wire strippers, wiring tools. And honestly, if you're in a pinch, a multi-tool will work too. You just got to be careful what you're doing. Oh, there you go, Beth. That's all right. Good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, compost is good. Hey, Mary. Yeah, that's a good idea too, Mary. At least a tarp. I've got various tarps and stuff, but these are just things that I went out in the garage and just jerked off the shelf, and just to maybe sort of remind some people about some things. But I think saw a video from Pinball earlier where he went and had to buy some 2x8s or something and 2x6s, and they were 15, $20 a piece. But you can do a lot of this stuff yourself. You don't have to hire somebody to do that. Yeah, zip ties is a good one too. I overlooked those. I just bought a big bag of them. Exactly off the wall. Exactly. Like I need some different batteries. I went and got some. Just keep them topped off. It's easy to get in a funnel with food and water. And that's great. You got to have that to survive. But I think a lot of times people overlook the other things, and uh, it's just one of those areas where you need to still incorporate into your daily, not your daily, but your thought process, if you will. Um, but light bulbs too. I mean, not that we're going to have electricity forever, but it'd be nice to have some extra light bulbs around. I think that the point is that we got to get in the habit of not expecting to just go to the store and be able to get everything. I got him. I got it off the wall. Expect don't expect to be able to just go to the store every time you need something. Expect those days to start to dwindle a little bit. Exactly, Bonnie's. Yep. Exactly, Mary. Exactly. Don't forget pet food, and don't forget the I use the little bug juice for the dog's back, and it's good for like I think 60 days per dose. So buy some extra of that, especially if you live in an area with high grass or fleas, ticks, things like that. You can get some extra. All right, see you off the wall. Um, but just every time you go to the store, maybe incorporate something new that's not a food prep or a prep that you consume, if you will. Oh, I do that too, CJ. That's almost a curse. You're almost getting into hoarding there, but you know what? I typically don't have to go buy that stuff. I got plenty of it around, so I do that one too. But it's just always a good idea to have other things. Yeah, you got that right, Mary. And those adult washcloths are really, really popular. So it's a big bag of basically wet wipes. They're bigger baby wipes is what they are. They call them adult washcloths. You can get them at Wally World in the geriatric aisle. But they're over there by the diapers and all that. But you can get a box of those for $5, I think. But those are really handy other than baby wipes because they're bigger. Man, those were huge when I was in the Army, man. We lived off baby wipes, keeping ourselves clean. And I even, you can go to the Home Depots and Lowe's too. They have a clearance aisle as well. And I was able to buy gallon bottles of the actual antibacterial hand soap, not hand sanitizer, but antibacterial soap. And they were regularly $20, and I got them for 10. I got two of them, so I basically got two for the price of one. I mean, hell, it doesn't really go bad. So I mean, it was so cheap, I just couldn't pass it up. Yeah, and that's true. When you have a shovel handle that breaks or something, just go buy a new handle, and you can install a new handle into a shovel spade real easy. There you go, CJ. Good job. Exactly, Mary. That's a good point. And I'll tell you something else. I didn't get it down, but I have an accordion style extension piece for a downspout. So I can basically either disconnect my downspout at the gutter and take it off and put this extension on there. It's flexible. It's like an accordion style, and I can stretch it down and bend it, and I can move it into over a bucket where I can collect water right out of the gutter. Of course, it'll have contaminants in it from the roof and just the general air. Um, I'd have to filter it and probably sanitize it still, but again, it's a rain collection system, and you can even cut your downspout off lower and just hook it up right there too, as well. So don't overlook your gutter system on your home that you have now if you have gutters, and use that as a rain collection system. And then if you don't have any gutters, it doesn't cost much to install it one section of gutter on under a valley on your roof, where it collects a lot of water. And it's a good place to put one if you don't have any. But it's something you can do, and they're not hard to install. You just got to make sure that they're flowing properly and they're at the right angle so they'll drain. Oh, nice, Sherry. Very nice. Yeah, that Walmart clearance aisle. I'm telling you what, man, it's a cool thing to go down and look, because you just be surprised sometimes what all they put on in that thing. I mean, it varies. It's like a a surprise every time I go down that thing, because one time uh they might have all kinds of like spark plugs, or like I said, this waterproofer stuff. I mean, that's a no brainer. But I'm surprised. Generally, I usually find something on the clearance aisle that I can use. Yeah, you bet. You bet, CJ. Like I said, if you're collecting water off your roof, that's great. You just got to be able, if you're going to consume it, you got to be able to sanitize it still, boil it, obviously, filter out any bird droppings and things like that that could be up there, single granules and all that. But if you've done your preps, you should be able to filter water pretty easy. And it last, but not least, just boil it to be sure, or bleach it. Don't forget your propane tanks too. Wow, that's a good find, Beth. Very, very nice. But for those of you that came in late, basically I just went through some off the beaten path preps that some people overlook that might want to go in and replenish their supply of sealants and things like that, plastic sheeting, all that jazz. While the prices are still somewhat normal and the products are still available, because I think that we're going to continue to see. Yeah, it is, CJ. It's easy to get them refilled. You just have to go to a supplier that can do that for you. To me, it's just easier to exchange them, but it probably is a little bit cheaper. I think they get them refilled. That's usually, I think, about half price of an exchange, what they normally say. Hey, Rise and Shine, good to see you. That sucks. Huh. I don't know why that is, Rise and Shine, but you showed up anyway. Appreciate it. But, it's all relative, I mean, it's like anything else. It's good to have stuff around where you don't have to go look for it. I keep a lot of extra materials around all the time. It's just something I've always done. And I was kind of raised that way, to be frugal, and you might need something one day, so you hold on to it. Some people call that hoarding, but it's limited hoarding. I'll say that, limited hoarding. That's a very good idea, Mary. That's pretty cool. Hey, Timothy, good to see you. That's great. Get them all lined up for him right there, Mary, and just top them all off for you. That's good. And you could go all day long on just various prepper items, home improvement items, things that you should keep around. I mean, we could go all day long. But to me, think of it as, it's kind of like freedom seed storing and purchasing. I don't really hoard the lead because of a civil war. I hoard it because of affordability. Before the 762 by 39 stuff started going sky high, I had been buying it up in big amounts, because number one, I like it. Number two, it was really cheap. I mean, it was less than 10 cents a round. So, I've incrementally been buying it for a lot of years, and I've built up quite a big, stockpile of it, and so, but I got it cheap, when I was doing it. But no, and I haven't seen it yet, Rise and Shine, but I certainly don't. I don't have any argument with that at all. It's a problem. Ugh. Yeah, it sucks, Mountain Grandma. That's for sure. Look for some of these places you can get a rebate on a water heater, and some of these plumbing companies will cut deals if you need something else. Don't be afraid to ask them if they've got any specials going on with water heaters. Maybe even go tankless. And I don't know if most of y'all know this or not, but you've seen the old smokers that people smoke briskets in and stuff, like a lot of these trailerized smokers. A lot of these steel tubes that you see them cooking in, these are old water heater tanks, is what they are. Inside your water heater, there's a steel tank inside, and that's where the water boils to get hot. So a lot of times you can, if you got an old water heater, you can remove that steel tank out of the inside of it, and you can use that, as a smoker. I don't know if y'all know that or not, but it's a good way to get a free, smoker out of the deal. But sealant and things like that. Like I said, if you're not really a construction person or a handy person, and you need sealant, um, if you need a sealant, but you don't have a caulk gun, you can go get these little tubes and make sure it's, interior, exterior, or silicone based or acrylic. But, this is just a tube that you can, cut the tip off of and reseal a window or a door, or, some broken tile you can get by with a little, caulk repair. But it's always, something good to keep around. Just keep it from freezing, and it'll usually be fine. And make sure you put the cap back on tight. Yeah, I hear you, Bonnie's. Yeah, exactly, Frank. If you can find a good plumber that is trustworthy, and they're out there, you know, get a good, honest opinion on what is really wrong with your system. But try to find, a friend of a friend that's honest, and go that way. Tell you something else, people. Think about summer coming up. I don't know if you live in a hot climate like I do, but all right, CJ, good to see you. Summer's coming up. It's going to be hot, at least in my area. Go grab a window unit or something, on sale while it's available right now. I keep 2 window units on hand all the time, and I've let people borrow them when their air conditioners went out. I mean, they're just great to have around. It's always going to happen where it goes out on a Sunday, and so it's good to have these window units where all you got to do is throw it in the window and plug it in, and it's good. Good for you, Beth. But they're cheap. You can get these window units for 150, $200. I mean, it's talking about the difference between life and death, really. I mean, down here in Texas, man, it's humidity will kill you. So it's great to have those window units around just as a backup. Because again, I'm telling you, it's always going to happen on a holiday or a Sunday where, you know, air conditioning people charge, triple time. In Texas, honestly, Texas, Oklahoma, if you don't have a window unit on hand, something's wrong. Oh, by the way. Huh. Hey, Lisa, good to see you. Yeah, a lot of people were still run those swamp coolers, or evaporative cooler they are, I guess. Yes, yes, B. And then some fans too, right? I mean, I keep extra fans around. And I've even got a couple of fans that will run on that. They're Ryobi fans. They're the One Plus system. Those little 18-volt cordless, and those are handy too, especially in a power outage situation. You just keep the air moving. You can survive. And I don't know if you guys have noticed. Interesting, Bonnies. I don't know if you guys and gals have noticed, but coffee is through the roof and hard to find in some stores. I know I have my own coffee line actually that I sell online, but there's another coffee that I like because of the caffeine content and called Rev, REVV. I mean, I haven't seen it in over a month at the store, so I'm thinking they may be out. Hey, East Tennessee, good to see you. But that Rev coffee I liked it because it wasn't like Death Wish strong, but it was really strong coffee, for a decent price. So, but I've got my own coffee line that I sell as well, that I drink. But the Rev was just like a little extra punch of caffeine. But I do like my own coffee too. That's good stuff, B. My coffee is called Direct Hit Coffee. Actually, I just ordered some the other day. There's a package of it right here. These are beans. There's different flavors. This is just a regular ground. This is pumpkin spice. That's the logo. I'll give you a link here. It's Direct Hit Coffee. It's called Direct Hit Coffee. But it's if you're looking for cheap, it's not the it's probably not for you if you're looking for the cheapest coffee you can find, but it does get packaged and shipped pretty quick, usually within 24 hours of order. No pressure, no pressure to buy coffee from me. I just was showing you. Just got the stuff sent, just arrived today. Anyway, that's funny. Sorry, y'all. I had to take listen to a voicemail real quick. But yeah, I have a lot of different flavors, and you can get the pot, the Keurig cups. They're called pods, or the ground, or the beans themselves. Or I have sample packs too. But you know, and I wouldn't stop, buying the paper products too. It's been really tough to find paper plates lately in my area. The cheap ones, at least the heavy duty Chinette ones, that you can basically cut a turkey on, or available. But it was very slim pickings on the cheap paper plates. I'll be right back. Y'all sit tight. All right, sorry about that, y'all. Had a business call there. Sorry about that. Anyway, I think the bad part about everything going on is that I'm now firmly convinced that it's all part of the reset. They want people to suffer enough to bend the knee and say, okay, whatever it takes, just make us comfortable again. And I think that, we prep to lessen the pain, if you will, and to be able to endure hardships that most people can't. And whatever you can do to be independent of the Politburo, the better off I think you'll be. There's a lot of nefarious actors going, through this thing, and we should have stood up and I think taken a more active. When we noticed, from a strategic point of view, I mean, Vlad's already said he's willing to launch nukes. Okay, I mean, one thing you've got to prove to your enemies is that you're crazier than they are. Okay. I mean, I'll have no problem in admitting it now, but I used to do a lot of undercover work, and I used to mingle with these animals and go into their homes and ride around with them, and I'm talking about drugs, and biker types and such. And you have to prove that you're crazier than they are. If you're not willing to do stuff that they do, and I'm not talking about using, I'm just talking about the day-to-day activities that they do, you'll never be credible, And so, to me, we should have stepped right up and, installed a no-fly zone immediately before he ever invaded. We should have taken the initiative. But if it's true what they say about him being terminally ill, he may be willing to burn it down. And if he's willing to burn it down, we're eventually going to have to fight anyway. Not really be, but that's all Hollywood crap, I mean, I did it for real. For about 3 years in that role internationally. But you have to prove to your enemies that you're crazier than they are, or you'll never be credible, and they'll never respect you, and you'll never have their attention, if you will, I mean, one thing's clear to me about this whole Ukraine situation, and that is there's a lot of people out there that are willing to watch Ukraine go down. Putin knows that he's committed war crimes. You think he's going to willingly go to The Hague? Hey, genius, good to see you. You think he's just going to say, okay, well, I give up here, here, cuff me, take me to The Hague? Hell no, he's not. I think he's made a decision that he's willing to go all the way. That's what I think. I could be wrong. Hey, Lee, good to see you. Y'all check out Cold War's channel, man. He has got a really good channel. I mean, he's grown faster than me, double me. But he's got a lot of good information about, especially the Cold War years, and especially with intel gathering and nukes and things like that. He's got a lot of good information, a lot of information about the old Soviet Union. I think he even speaks Russian. But y'all, somebody drop Cold War's link, please. He's definitely somebody that you want to follow. I hope not. On the vodka, yeah, no, I heard the same thing, and I'm already topped off on it. But I love my Russian vodka. Sorry, I'm not dumping it out. But yeah, please, please drop Cold War's link up there if you would. He's got a lot of good information. I didn't hear anything about the Russian ammo, but I sure hope not. I mean, I've already got a ton of it, but sorry, just going through some emails here. There you go. Thanks, Val. uh, see, Cold War speaks Russian, man. I think they make Tula and Monarch too. I think. It's funny. I mean, people dumping out their Russian vodka. I mean, come on, man. Hell, I'd dump out Coca-Cola before I dump that shit out. I'm probably gonna go buy more of it before they dump it. Yeah, I love Tito's. It's good stuff. Gluten free. I prefer the old hammer and sickle. Have y'all had that hammer and sickle vodka? Man, it's good. Yeah, well, I don't have any morals when I'm drinking. Yeah, I heard that. Be right back. This stuff's probably a gold mine now. Hammer and sickle. I know you can appreciate that, Lee. Russia, Russia, Russia. You can find it. I don't know if you have not every liquor store sells it, but there's this liquor store called Specs that sells it. That's called Hammer and Sickle. Show it again for those of you that might have missed it. Cool bottle too. Oh yeah, damn right. Tell them I go by there and get some more if they've got it. Yeah, but there's a liquor store called Specs that you can get it, or you could get it. Hopefully they haven't dumped it out. I doubt it. They don't. People don't do that shit down here. They do in Austin probably, or the big cities, but out here where I'm at, people are pretty low key, dumping their vodka out, whatever. But yeah, I mean, everybody has to, make their own choices and live with their own conscience and all that. But hey, Sean, good to see you. Like I said, there's a lot of nefarious activity going on by a lot of different nefarious people with this whole Ukraine thing, and I'm not going down the rabbit holes and blaming one particular person or entity, but there's a whole lot of stuff going on, like most of you know. What's the change, genius? Hmm, interesting. Okay. Mm. Well, Mountain Grandma, I don't know about that. I mean, I don't know if those satellite images are real time, I think some of them may be like older, and so if you're just going on Google Earth, I don't think those are all, real time access. I think you might be looking at some older photos, but maybe not. I mean, I don't know. I'm not an expert in mapping and all that stuff. I mean, I use it for work sometimes, but as far as the reliability of the timeliness of it, I'm not sure. But here's one thing I know for sure. It doesn't sound to me like Vlad is too worried about going before the Hague for war crimes, because it's clear if what we're looking at is true and happening in Ukraine, there's obviously been war crimes committed. And something tells me he's not too worried about going before the Hague, and he doesn't plan on doing that. So I think if you start there and take scenarios from that point, you probably can envision what is likely to happen. I'll be right back. Sit tight. Anyway, Hey, Jerry. You're good. I'm probably ready to cut it off, but I got to go run some errands here. But yeah, there's a whole lot of nefarious stuff going on, y'all. That's for sure. But just, like I said, the meaning of this live was just to have people think outside the box a little bit and grab some of those preps that aren't necessarily consumable. I know we got off onto a coffee thing and a vodka thing, but um, you know, think about the home improvement stuff, the silicones, the duct tape, the plastic sheeting, the the nails and screws, and uh, things that you can collect water with, and all that jazz. Just think about those things and pick them up as you can while they're still available. That's the thing. I'm not, the thing I'm worried about is the pricing going up, obviously, and then obviously availability, right? Because it's all coming full circle now, and I think you're going to start really seeing the limitations on things as we go forward here. But it is what it is. Anyway, almost approaching an hour 20 here, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I just wanted to thought about these home improvement things, and wanted to just mention a few that I thought were important. And if you missed it, please go back and watch it. Obviously, please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate your interaction and your coming on and communicating. You guys and gals have always been great. And trust your gut. Trust your gut. So everybody, keep doing the things you're doing. Keep hope alive. Keep praying. Keep prepping. Stack it deep, and always remember, long live the Republic. Y'all take care.